Is your small business growing? That's the question we address right here on the Grow Your Biz Show. It's where we interview strategic entrepreneurs who inform and inspire you on your solopreneur or small company journey. Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Hello and welcome to the Grow Your Biz Show. I am your host, Paul Madsen, and this is episode number 74. Thanks for joining us. Before we begin, I'd like to mention ActionCoach.com. ActionCoachOmaha.com is the sponsor for today's program. Jim Barger is Omaha's Action Coach, and he can provide a wide variety of training and coaching services to help your small or large business run better. Now, on to the show. I am excited today because we have in the house Miss Elizabeth Yearwood from the Small Business Administration. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Well, great to have you come down. You kind of short notice, and I really appreciate you making your schedule clear and,
absolutely.
and joining us.
Absolutely.
The reason I'm happy to have you here is because you represent the perfect resource for our viewing audience. So we talk to people who are starting their own business, starting their solopreneur thing, growing their business. Maybe they have 2 or 3 employees already. Someone who's laid off, maybe has a severance package and they're wondering what to do next. That's our audience, and we're going to get way down into what you and the SBA do and see how you can help them.
Awesome. Those are all kinds of people, so I'm excited.
That's really cool. Well, let's jump right in. Elizabeth, tell us, what business is the SBA in?
We are in the business of helping your small business.
And helping our small business. How do you do that?
We have a lot of ways actually that we can help. We help folks start, grow, and then sustain their prosperity. We really want to give people the resources that they need to stay in business, start business, expand their small businesses. We have 3 main missions at the SBA. We help people get access to contracting, so small businesses, to be able to take part in the set-aside contracts. We also help small businesses get financing. A lot of small business owners, when they first start out, they might not have a whole lot of money in the bank. They might not have a lot of collateral. They don't have as much experience that banks sometimes will want to see. And so that's where we step in and guarantee a loan through the bank to help small business owners.
Wow, okay. And but you do other things beyond just the financing part, too.
Oh, yes. Yes, that's our 3rd mission, actually, is we help small businesses find technical assistance, get that one-on-one counseling that they need, and all of that is free, and we do that through our resource partners, SCORE, the Nebraska Business Development Center, our Veterans Business Opportunity Center, and then our Women's Business Centers.
Wow, and all sorts of different niche markets, so to speak, to help different levels, different people at different situations. Well, let's go first to the financing, because you mentioned that. Well, before I do that, I've got to ask my other big question. Why does the SBA, why does the federal government care about small business? They're just small businesses, you know?
We do care. We want the little guy to be as competitive as all of the big guys that are out there.
Yeah.
So we started way back in the 50s. Because the government noticed that we really needed to be giving small business owners a leg up in the world. Because when you're small, you know, mom and pop or maybe just a few employees, you really can't compete with all of those big industries.
No, they're established and have huge resources.
Exactly.
And so the government came in and said, we want to make it so the little guy can have a chance, or a little gal, right? Okay.
And we were born.
In the 50s.
Wow. Been helping people ever since.
Wow. I wonder how many thousands or maybe millions of small companies have launched because of it.
Let's just say lots.
A lot. I knew it was that answer. I was right about that. A lot, yeah. Well, and so a lot of our audience, again, are people maybe who are in their 40s or 50s and they've been in corporate America, employees, been in jobs for a long time, and they say, is that all there is? You know, or maybe they got helped into thinking that by getting cut or laid off or something like that.
Opportunities to excel elsewhere, yes.
Oh, yeah. I like that. We want you to excel elsewhere. I've been told that. We don't care where, just somewhere but here, right? Were you there? That's the words they used.
I was, yes.
Well, anyway, that's funny. So these people, you know, sometimes they don't know where to turn.
Right.
And they say, oh, I want to do my own thing, but I don't know how, I don't know where, I don't know what. You know, what's a good starting point for for the person to interface with the SBA, Small Business Administration?
We definitely recommend that folks seek out our resource partners. SCORE and the Nebraska Business Development Center here in Omaha. We also work with veterans specifically through our Veterans Business Opportunity Centers.
Okay.
But when people first come to us, it's kind of amazing how almost overwhelmed they are at the huge availability of resources that are available to them.
I've been amazed
free.
at that. Yeah, free.
It's free.
Well, and we'll talk about your contact information later, but to get on your mailing list, I'm always getting stuff from SCORE, mostly, that's the one I'm on, about all these free resources. Just last week I was at one about Facebook, how to use Facebook to market your small business, with Tom Luke, who's also been on this program. He did an excellent job. Good job, Tom. And at any rate, those kind of things, do people even understand that they're free? I don't get it, right?
We get that a lot of people just looking kind of shocked. There's so much information out there that they can sit down one-on-one with a small business mentor, get all the help they need with their business plans, with their financials. It's amazing.
Well, sure. Well, I was talking about the seminars that you have.
Oh, yes.
Talk more about the one-on-one SCORE type of consultation.
Oh, absolutely. So folks are able to sit down typically for about an hour with a SCORE mentor. They can come in as many times as they want. They can ask any questions that they want. They're great for folks that really are in that position where they want to start a small business, or they have to start a small business, but
they have to. Yeah.
They have to.
Well, I mean that happens. People.
It does.
I was in my 50s. I was laid off, and I know you think I'm in my 30s, but
20s actually.
Thank you. And laid off, and I applied for hundreds of jobs, and I said, well, maybe I have to start a business, and I've been in the employment and staffing and human resources recruiting business for decades, and I've seen lots and lots of stories, and it's sometimes I think these people, including myself, have to realize, well, maybe there isn't a job for me out there because they're more expensive. There is age discrimination. It happens, and then they kind of have to start a business. Anyway, I interrupted you.
Oh no.
So what's the next thing? I mean, what happened? You say this the business partners. Did you tell me all about the one-on-ones in more detail?
Yes, so they can basically sit down, and one of the most helpful things that SCORE does is go through the business plan with you and help vet your idea, see if it's actually viable. They can talk you through all of the steps that you need to take. People will come in with a great idea, but they don't know where to go next.
Right.
They don't know how to market themselves. They don't know how to put all of their thoughts on paper.
Right.
And that can be really overwhelming if you've never done it before.
Well, sure. And there's tons of resources on the internet, but guess what? That's the problem. There's
tons.
You can't get through it all. You can't. Who do I believe? What do I believe? Should I buy this course? Should I buy this service? Is this free? Do they know what they're talking about?
Right.
Whereas if I go to SCORE, what happens?
It's totally free.
And I sit down with someone who knows nothing about my business?
No, we have industry specific.
Trick question.
But they're great. They're former CEOs, CFOs. They're folks that are business consultants. I mean, there's so much experience there, exporting experience, marketing.
Well, give us an example of who a SCORE volunteer might be.
Sure. Well, we work a lot with Pauline Stark. For instance, she has her own marketing company, and she is always willing to lend her expertise to small business owners. She's really, really good at marketing. We have other...
And she comes out of a long history of employment at major levels of a major company. Yeah.
Yep,
and so
absolutely.
It's not just somebody walking down the street says, I want to be a SCORE volunteer.
Exactly.
And
yes.
Pauline has been on this show too when it was a different name as well. So.
Right.
Hi, Pauline.
Hi, Pauline.
And so there's different people with different areas of expertise. What kinds of areas of expertise again? Well, I mean, a lot of C-level type people.
Oh, absolutely.
Any
Accountants,
niche?
insurance agents. There's a couple of lawyers that will come in and do presentations for us, which if they do, definitely come to those, because what a great chance to ask lawyers questions, and it doesn't
for free.
cost you a dime.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's that
those
question
are some
usually.
of our popular ones.
Yeah, it might cost you $250 for an hour, whereas you go to a free course, get donuts, see you, and get all those good answers.
There's donuts? Which workshops have I been going to?
You brought them, I thought. Maybe I got the wrong one. Well, and that kind of brings up another question. There's a lot of places out there that I, as a fledgling entrepreneur, as a guy who started something and has, 3 employees, want to just get to that next level, want to get to the hurdle. There's plenty of resources available online or everywhere. What differentiates the SBA and SCORE and so on from all the other noise out there?
Well, we definitely don't like to think of ourselves as noise.
No, you're not. Yeah, what differentiates you from the noise?
Oh, from the noise.
From the noise.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, definitely we are the only federal agency that is solely committed to helping small business owners start, grow, and then sustain their profitability.
I love that. Now, and you said that earlier. Starting, we kind of talked about, I have an idea, I have maybe a half-baked business plan. The SCORE volunteer or the seminar will help me
fully bake it.
Fully bake it. Thank you to turn the heat up on it. Growing, I think we'll get back to that, but I think a real key is starting, and the ideas are easy.
Yes.
It's that sustaining thing.
Yes.
Tell a little bit more about what SCORE, I keep saying SCORE, what the SBA can do to help someone sustain their business.
Well,
financially and otherwise.
Financials become huge, right? If you need working capital, we can help with that. If you're looking to purchase a new building, to expand, to buy a franchise, to hire more employees, or maybe heavy equipment, we can guarantee loans for all of that.
Wow. Okay.
Which is great.
You guarantee loans. Tell us about that process. I have an idea for XYZ company, pretty capital intensive. I need X thousands of dollars to make it happen. Where do I go? What happens next?
So for SBA, we only directly lend money in the case of disaster assistance, which we do have disaster.
We have that now,
yes, we do, and we'll probably be doing some work in our area for that. But we do not directly lend to small business owners for just regular capital needs.
Right.
So all of our loans are done through the bank, and then we back those loans.
And you probably help that small business owner to get everything together in order to approach the bank correctly.
We really rely on our resource partners for that,
Oh, okay.
and that's another great thing that the Nebraska Business Development Center can do.
Oh, okay.
They
Yeah.
have often helped banks package all of those loans, so
Right.
they will really know what a small business lender is looking for in a business plan.
So they do that part of it. You refer them to your partners, and they help bundle it up and get it so a bank will look at them. Are there any examples of that you can tell about where companies have gotten some money, got started and sustain themselves as they go?
Sure, absolutely. We worked with the Green Spot in Omaha.
Green Spot, okay.
Green Spot, they're a natural dog food store.
Okay.
And they're also a pug rescue, so if you love pugs, definitely go in there because they're running around and they're very, very cute.
You should have little living props, I guess, in a dog food store.
Yes, that was actually one of my favorite success story interviews that we've ever done.
Yeah.
They were very sweet puppies. But
funny.
the two owners were able to start with an SBA loan, and they had a very unique journey because it took them going to a couple of banks in order to get financing.
Okay.
And that can be really discouraging to small business owners if you keep getting that no, no, no.
Right.
But it's a question of getting in front of that one lender who really believes in what you're doing.
Sure.
So once they were able to find that, they were able to get the loan, and they've since doubled their retail space.
Wow.
So they've been a really, really good
And they have
example.
a handful of staff or something? Or?
Yes, under 10,
okay.
I believe. But
wow, that's terrific. And speak to that a little bit. The persistence, I guess. Is getting a loan a little bit like dating? I mean, you have to find the right one,
match.
The right match. Yeah, and
Yes.
swipe left, or whatever they do. And
Yes.
I mean, you said that Banker B agreed with and believed in these people.
Well, it
whereas
wasn't-
Banker A did not.
wasn't necessarily Banker B. It was a little further down
C,
the
D, E,
alphabet.
F, J. Okay, gotcha.
Exactly.
All right, more like K or something.
There's definitely that need to stick to the dream, stick to the goal, and just persevere when you're a small business owner seeking financing, especially if you're on the younger end of the spectrum.
And these people were, you said?
They were.
Well, and tell their roughly ages, because I think what you said about, again, a lot of my target market with my consulting and sales consulting to companies is that older person, 40, 50s, 60s, and so on. Sometimes the younger people might not have certain assets or...
Right. That can be tricky if there's not that huge amount of money for a down payment, or they don't have collateral, there's no real
home
assets
equity
in the business.
or something,
Exactly.
or no 401ks.
If you don't own a house.
Okay.
Exactly.
And yet these people persevered
Yes.
onto JKLM banker.
Exactly. And they had a great business plan, really solid. They had gotten a lot of assistance with that.
Okay.
And that
Through
really
you guys,
is,
or?
Yep, through
Okay.
SBA, through our resource partners. And that's really the biggest key, I think, when you're going to the bank, is to know your numbers, have a really solid business plan, talk to SCORE first, talk to NBDC first,
Yeah.
get those numbers where you need them to be before you go to the bank.
Sure. Now, do you work with NBDC too?
We do, yes, they're an
And
official
tell
resource
tell
partner
about them a
as
little
well.
bit, what they are.
So they're the
They are a
Nebra-
partner too?
They are,
Okay,
yes.
awesome.
Yes.
Okay.
Nebraska Business Development Center, they're located on UNO, and then they also have offices throughout the state, just like SCORE does. They have different chapters.
Okay.
And
what do they do?
They do a whole wide range of business or of services for businesses. What they do on the startup side is free of charge, so you can actually sit down with them, and they will give you some assistance
Okay.
with market research, with running your numbers. They're really good at putting together those financials, which honestly, that's probably the hardest part of the business
yeah.
plan. If you've never been
Yeah.
in business before,
yeah.
and lenders really want 1 to 3 years of projected financials, well,
Wow.
how do you know what you're
If
going
you
to
don't
sell?
have anything, yeah.
Exactly, especially if you really don't have all that much business experience.
Wow.
Like, you're just guessing.
Yeah.
So at least get those educated guesses.
Well, it's, you know, and I think it's hard sometimes for people I talk to, and maybe even myself, to say, well, gee, there's a lot I don't know, and I want to go talk to an expert. That's kind of embarrassing. I mean, how do you put those people at ease?
We just say there's no dumb questions.
Okay.
There's so much out there that even we don't know. I've been doing this job for 5 years, and it seems like every other day I'm finding out about a new resource or
Sure.
something new that I can be recommending to people.
Yeah.
There's just so much out there, and nobody knows everything.
No,
The SCORE
can't.
counselors, they know that their people coming in don't know everything.
Right.
They're very nice people.
Yeah. Well, that's terrific. And so they have offices throughout the state. So how many offices does SCORE have throughout the state?
They have, I believe it's 6 or 7
Oh, wow.
chapters
Okay.
throughout the state.
Good footprint then. Yeah. Well, they're busy these days with a disaster thing.
Yes.
That'll keep a lot of people going.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, that's tough. Any other examples of companies that have been helped through the SBA that you can bring to us?
Absolutely. We've also worked with Play It Again Sports in Omaha.
Play It Again Sports.
Play It Again Sports.
Uh-huh.
Rich Messina owns that. It's a franchise, and he's been extremely successful. And what's great about Rich is he's extremely community involved,
Okay.
which is awesome. He's
Wow.
also been through our Boots to Business program that we do on Offutt Air Force Base
For the veterans. Uh-huh.
for transitioning veterans that want to become small business owners. So
Right.
it's a big formal program.
Right.
He's not only gone through that program, but
Okay.
he also comes in to talk as a veteran business owner
Okay.
for
Okay.
us. So he's very supportive, and he's now a member of SCORE as well.
Wow.
So he's a great one to network
Sure.
with. He's very active in the community.
Awesome. Well, you enlightened me that, you know, I think of SBA, and I think of SCORE and NBDC and the rest, and I think of the idea that, you know, it's for a startup only or something like that. But it
Oh,
can
it's
also be
not.
for a franchise.
For a franchise, or if you need some
Or even-
guidance being in business. Maybe you've been in business for 3 or 4 years, but
Okay.
marketing's not your strong suit.
Right,
Or
right.
maybe you need to increase your sales.
Right.
They're truly for every cycle of your business,
Yeah.
from beginning to end.
Well, that's terrific because, I mean, and I've had Blake Martin on the show. He's with Franet of the Midland, or
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Heartland Midlands. I always get confused.
Heartland, I
Heartland,
believe.
I think you're right. And he helps people match up with the proper franchise.
Mm-hmm.
He's been on the program, sat right there. And, you know, he would say, of course, that why start from scratch? Why not buy a business that has a proven track record?
Right.
And my mind is buzzing now because if the SBA can help someone get into something like that, that takes a lot of that front end noise away, the hassle of starting from scratch without a proven concept, and maybe going to a proven concept.
Absolutely. Franchises are a great option for folks that want to get into business.
Well, that's terrific.
And we can also help back those loans as well.
Okay, sure. Did I interrupt you about another company that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, no.
Was there another SBA company, that success story that you can share?
Gosh, we've also worked with Over Easy, the
Oh, really?
restaurant in Omaha. We helped them a while back. Gosh, there's just so many of them.
Yeah,
It's hard to
well, that's
narrow
it.
one down.
Well, a lot of, I mean, we probably drive by things and, you know.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit about numbers of small business, about how many jobs it creates and those kind of things.
So this actually really surprised me when I first started working, because you hear so much about all of the larger businesses, right? But 98% of all businesses are small.
98%.
98%.
98%.
So almost all of them are
Right.
small.
Wow.
And people sometimes get a little bit confused because for me, small business means, oh gosh, maybe under 50 employees,
Right.
10 employees.
Right.
But it's actually considered, a business that has 500 or fewer employees is actually considered small in the government size.
Well, I mean, if you think about it across the country, I think there's between 25 and 30 million companies in the nation. And if 98% of
Right.
those are small, you folks have a lot to work to do.
We
you know?
really do.
If you're going to help start, grow, and sustain millions of companies, you better get on it.
We try.
Well, and you do.
That's
a
why
great,
we have our resource partners to
well,
help us.
and you do a great job. Now, how many people are work in the SBA office?
Gosh, there's not
in
very
Omaha.
many of us.
Really?
Right. We're about 6
Wow,
folks, and we
okay.
do cover the entire state of Nebraska. So
Okay.
we have people like me that do all of the economic development work. We're basically the outreach, the face of the SBA.
Okay.
We have people that work with lenders that
Okay.
can help answer questions about SBA loans, kind of get into the really particular side of
Okay,
things.
okay.
And then we have a staff member that works solely in government contracts
Okay.
as well.
Wow. So
We
again,
have a wide
into
range. Mm-hmm.
almost any direction I want to go as a small business person, I have a free resource to get started.
exactly.
Tell us a little bit more about the micro lending side. We haven't talked about that.
Oh, right. So we do partner with various microlenders in the state. We work with the Nebraska Enterprise Fund, CDR, and the Rural Enterprise Assistance Project, which is out in Lyons, Nebraska. So they
Okay.
cover kind of the more rural
Okay.
areas out there. NEF covers everybody as well. And microloans are really, really good for folks that have been turned down by a bank for either a traditional bank loan or
Okay.
an SBA guaranteed loan for whatever reason. That
Right.
might be, credit collateral issues,
Right.
cash flow issues, whatever
Sure.
the case may be. But they can go to microloans, which typically go up to $50,000, and in some cases can even go up to $150,000,
Wow, okay.
which really is a pretty big amount
Yeah.
when you're talking a smaller company.
So, folks, if you need a opportunity, if you've been bounced around, maybe the bank lending for your small business startup is not traditional, consider this micro lending type of organizations. And again, that group is called?
We work with Nebraska Enterprise Fund, with the Rural Enterprise Assistance Project,
Okay.
and then with Community Development Resources in Lincoln, CDR.
Wow, that's a lot of,
That's
lot of acronyms to keep track of. Government.
We are a federal agency.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
We do love our acronyms.
LOA, lots of acronyms.
Ooh, good one.
Hey, yeah,
Absolutely.
I can
You
work
should
for the
come
government.
work for
I'm
us.
in. Hire me. Let's do it. Let's do it. Hey, Tricia, Elizabeth, I'm sorry. Tell us about your background before you got started with the SBA.
Sure. So I was in the Air Force for 4 years.
Okay.
And then after separating from that, we moved here to Nebraska, and I worked for the VA Medical Center for 4 years.
Okay.
Really enjoyed that job. It was wonderful to be able to work with veterans, helping veterans. And then this position came up at the SBA, and it really appealed to me because I love helping people, and that idea of sitting down one-on-one with somebody and really helping them take their dream to the next step and grow. It's
Sure.
an amazing job. Honestly, it's the best job
Well,
in the world.
I mean, tell us what you do on a weekly basis. I mean, I see you out and about everywhere.
Right.
What's a typical week look like in Elizabeth's world?
It can be a little crazy. These 2 weeks coming up here, I'm almost never in the office, which is
Right.
actually the way
That's
it should be,
supposed to
right?
be. Yes, yes.
Because I want to be getting out and about promoting SBA, promoting our resource partners, giving workshops. We have 2 coming up this Tuesday and next Tuesday in Papillion.
Tell us all about them.
Yeah, so they are social media
Okay.
related. They're at the Sump Memorial Library the next 2 Tuesdays from noon to 1:30.
Okay.
And it's tomorrow rather, is social media platforms. So if you don't know a whole lot about social media, we're covering Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. I mean, it's so much crammed into an hour and a half.
That's terrific.
They're all taught by social media experts.
Wow.
And then the one a week from tomorrow is by Jeff Quant of OnQ Marketing, and he is going to be talking on SEO.
He's been on my program too.
Yes,
Jeff's
you've had everybody.
Jeff's a good friend of the show. He's
Yes.
been very helpful
Well, you
to me
need-
over the years. Jeff Quant, OnQ Marketing. Yes.
Awesome. Well, and you need to have Jen Conger of Jen Conger marketing because she is my stand-in presenter for tomorrow.
Oh, okay.
So she was very kind to
Sounds
step
like
in.
someone I
and
need to talk to.
She's got some great information planned for tomorrow.
Tomorrow, and then next week's another one as well.
Yes.
Where do they learn about these seminars and these free forums that are happening?
We have a lot of distribution lists that they can sign up for. If people email me, it's elizabeth.yearwood@sba.gov. I'm happy to put you on the workshop distribution list.
Okay.
You can go to sba.gov/NE. That's our local website, sba.gov being the national website.
Okay.
You can contact SCORE. They're omaha.score.org. And Twitter. I'm a huge Twitter fan, so
really?
if you are out there watching
Really?
this, please follow me.
Yes.
I'm not above begging for Twitter followers.
Well, how many are you up to now?
1631.
Whoa, good
And
for
I would
you.
like to increase that.
Now, tell me about Twitter versus LinkedIn. I mean, LinkedIn's a real business-to-business world.
Yes.
Are you big on LinkedIn?
I am. I am also on LinkedIn. I just really like Twitter because I try to have a lot of fun with it.
Okay.
It's a great place to advertise our workshops.
Sure.
SCORE National does a ton of free
And
webinars.
you get a lot of good feedback from Twitter on that?
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I do.
I want to highlight that workshop coming up on the social media because again, if maybe you've been an accountant in a company or companies for 20 years and you haven't really gotten into social media marketing.
Right.
What an opportunity for that person who's going to start a business.
Oh, yes, and it's basics. So
Yeah.
it's a really good chance for people that don't know much about it
Yeah.
to really
well,
learn.
that's what I liked about the Tom Luke meeting I
Right.
went to is that he made it, I mean, he could have gone for hours.
Right. It's all
But
kind
he
of that
took it,
high level.
He took the group. The group is obviously a mixed bag of skill, but he really brought everybody along nicely and had a lot of
Right.
Q&A time at the end. And I just can't recommend these programs enough because they're really awesome that you all put on there. So.
And they're free.
Well, yeah, they're free. So you've given all your sites and some of your upcoming things. Any parting advice do you have for entrepreneurs, wannabe entrepreneurs, growing entrepreneurs to the next level?
I would say my biggest parting advice, if you do nothing else, you should do this. And that's, of course, follow me on Twitter, which is at SBA_Nebraska. Make sure you get the underscore in there.
Underscore.
So at SBA_Nebraska. But really, okay, my biggest advice.
I love that. So you got it here, folks. If you follow Elizabeth, your business will flourish. There you go.
Sure, don't hold me to that, but
It'll
absolutely.
start, grow, and sustain, right?
prosperity,
All right.
yes.
All right. Anything else?
Don't give up and come and talk to our resource partners. It's free, it's an amazing experience. We can really help you grow.
Elizabeth Yearwood of the Small Business Administration, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks for
Love
having me
talking to
on.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on this episode of the Grow Your Biz Show. Please join us next week, and until then, go out and grow something.